Now, are you excited for WrestleMania? To paraphrase Triple H in the press conference, yes, Mr. Levesque, I am. This is our review of the 2025 WWE Elimination Chamber. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. From Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications for all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown, wrestling opinion pieces, and WWE Premium Live Event prediction and review videos. Now, I am Jason C. McLean, and once again, I am joined by Mike Gwilliam. How's it going, Mike?
Pretty good, man. Elimination Chamber, man. What a event. What a great event to go to as well.
Yeah, to catch that one live, like you could say, I was there. I was happy. I was there live for when Chad Gable turned heel on Sami Zayn, as everyone was expecting to happen. I thought, like, that's a major event that'll be remembered for years. Anything fun happen at your show? Let's. We're gonna wait for that. Yes, we are gonna talk about what everyone's talking about. I even made a whole other video just on that. But first of all, recording this just after 4:00 on the Monday. That's March the 3rd. So we have not seen Raw yet. This video might come out only on Tuesday, but we have not seen Raw yet. So if something that we're talking about has something changes on the Raw, we hadn't seen it yet. Okay, so let's get right into. Oh, by the way, yeah, just to clarify, Mike was actually there in person at the Rogers Center, aka the Sky Dome. Were your seats pretty good?
They were pretty good. You know, I enjoyed every second of it. Honestly, it was a fantastic. But like, see live, man, the crowd was absolutely just wild at this thing. You know, and for good reason too.
Yeah, it came through. Which usually in stadiums, the crowd noise is not as great as it is in arenas because of how the acoustics, bouncing off the roof are like big. But if I remember Sky Dome, like the crowd turned Hulk Hogan a babyface one time.
Yeah,
like that was
yeah. Obviously, you had there were 38,000 people in attendance for this one. I think WrestleMania 18 was the largest, obviously, in Sky Dome Rogers Center history for attendance, right? But this was still for PLE. It isn't SummerSlam. It isn't Royal Rumble. Like really, really, really good stuff from the crowd. I gotta say.
It's also a Canadian gate record for them. That's probably because the tickets were a little bit pricey. I don't know how much you paid, but yeah, it's I always find it interesting that they brag about that. They brag about how much money they made, even depending on the crowd. Anyways, let's get right into it. The Women's Elimination Chamber match. Now, this one started just after the bell rang, before the door was even closed. We start with Liv Morgan and Naomi in the match. Naomi would be eliminated, not by Liv, but by Jade Cargill. I love Jade came down. Massive crowd pop. They're really showing on the camera at this point. They're really showing Liv Morgan's face. She's looking scared. Like,
she's a great actor as well in that situation.
Yeah, no, Liv Morgan is fantastic. Honestly, she's like, I think, the MVP of the year for me so far. Like, just her performances is So she's all worried, but of course Jade comes by, makes like she's going to attack Liv, but instead beats the hell out of Naomi. At this point, Bianca Belair is still in a pod, so she can't do anything. She's trapped. She takes Naomi, starts throwing her against the cell. Eventually, the officials try to hold her back, and then Naomi is about to escape, and they start slamming Naomi's head into the door, which is brutal. That's old school wrestling. Brutal. It's something you don't usually see from Jade Cargill. There's also people notice that, like, for example, Liv, but also Bianca and Naomi are all dressed in white. Jade's dressed in black. Jade Cargill leaves. They take Naomi out. Liv's laughing. She's making fun of Bianca. There's like a shocked Alexa Bliss in her pod. The match officially starts. They wait for the first person to come out. Of course, it's Bianca. She doesn't want to even interact with the match at this point. She tries to go to the door to see if she can, follow Naomi. She can't. She forgets that she's in the match. Liv reminds her. They fight for a while. There's a lot of back and forth, some good fighting. Eventually, everyone does get in there. Roxanne Perez really puts on a good show. She nearly eliminates Bayley with a crossface until Liv actually eliminates Bayley with an Oblivion. And Alexa eliminates Roxanne Perez with a Twisted Bliss. That might become something in the future. Bliss hits a Sister Abigail DDT on Bianca, but then Liv quickly rolls her up, and then Liv eliminates her with the help of Bianca's hair, holding on to Bianca's hair. Really interesting. There's at this point, though, I mean, it comes down to Liv and Bianca because everyone else is eliminated. But at some point before this, there's an amazing spot where they're on top of the cell, and Bianca starts whipping Liv with her hair. And eventually, there's amazing back and forth. Like I mean, I was at this point, I was sure that I knew that Bianca was going to win. That's who I predicted. But it really looked like Liv had some spots, but eventually, no, Bianca got the best. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So okay, let's Bianca wins. Let's do our ratings on it. First of all, I'm across the board was incredibly satisfied with this match. This was a great way to start off the show. The storytelling, especially bringing the Jade aspect, they had sort of put that on the back burner. They brought it back. The way they played, the way the storytelling A+, in-ring storytelling A+, in-ring work. Honestly, this one's getting an A+ across the board for me, even the intangible. And just like the way that they when they had the beginning, like Bianca stuck in the cell, Liv taunting her, just you can't rule out the fact that Bianca might have been involved in this because Jade couldn't get to her, right? I mean, first of all, what's your rating?
I think I give it a solid B+. I think this was a very, very nice, aggressive, women's match. This is one of the most more aggressive women's matches I think we've seen in WWE in quite some time. Honestly, I'm trying to think of one that comes close to this. Everyone really gave it their all. It was some really fun spots. Obviously, as you said, the storytelling in this was fantastic. We got some good matches now set up. Heading into Mania now too. With Naomi versus Jade, right, in the future, probably looking at Mania, and then obviously Bianca versus Rhea, right, and we'll see what happens with Sky Rhea later today. But I think solid B+, maybe like an A-. Really, really good stuff from them. Just across the board, great opener. The expected opener as well, but that's fine.
Did you think Jade was going to come in that quick? You didn't even think Jade was going to come in at all, but the fact that she came in like before the door even closed.
I think it was great booking, honestly, and that's a trend that will continue throughout the entire night, right? You didn't see this happen like at the very end, it didn't in the middle, like right away at the beginning. Really, just gets everything off right away, and just seeing Bianca's reaction to the whole thing, it just everything about that was great, and just the spots as well. So great
and again, Liv is my MVP of the match though too. I mean, yes, Bianca won; she deserved to win. She put on a great job. I love the fact that her hair was used as a weapon by others and actually to have it to pin someone who wasn't even Bianca. Like Liv used the hair to pin Alexa. Like they
had a great back and forth too, like a trading finisher attempts too with Oblivion and the I forget Bianca's finisher's name off the top of my head, but just going back and forth there.
She's the EST. Phenomenal. It's the Kiss of Death, the KOD.
Yes, that's the one. If I got the acronym, that's just fantastic. Like they had good chemistry as well. I think it's just great stuff going forward. I could see them working together down the line as well. So just awesome.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, hitting that on the Liv, like lifting up Liv, is not as impressive as lifting up Nia Jax, which Bianca's done, but still, because of the chemistry, because of the back and forth, it was excellent. Also, I think, Bayley, did a good job. We knew she wasn't going to win. Roxanne Perez, good showing for a first match on the main roster. I think the company really thinks she's going places. Alexa Bliss, maybe, who knows? That's going to be a feud. But yeah, and of course at the end we had both Rhea and Io coming out and confronting Bianca, which is the image that we knew we needed to end on. So yeah, fantastic opening match. Now the next match is one you dubbed the bathroom break match. And, I think it was a little bit better than that. It was Nia Jax and Candice LeRae versus the WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton and Toronto legend Trish Stratus. It started off very, very fast. It was not that long a match. I think it was a good match. There was a lot of back and forth. Different people had the advantage. At one point, Nia started flinging Trish around, which looked very impressive. Ultimately, though, Tiffy Time won out. Tiff got the pin 1, 2, 3 on Nia Jax, which I think was important because Tiff never really got, aside from a cash-in victory on Nia, this is, I think, her first real victory on Nia, so that puts that to bed. As far as the ratings, I mean, the storytelling's fine. This one, in ring, I'd say maybe like a B plus. Can't really complain about it. The story's fine. The in ring storytelling, maybe a B minus. It wasn't that's but in ring work, a B. A crowd. Obviously, the crowd wasn't as into this one as the first match. Maybe like I mean, you're in the crowd, you can't really rate yourself, but maybe a C plus. I'd say I give this one a B. Good. I mean, decent second match in the show. Can't complain. What about you?
No, I think people like to see Trish in Toronto. It's a no-brainer there. I would like to see maybe Trish and Tiffany have a feud down the line. Maybe we have like a Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan kind of thing. Maybe at some point, when we had the switching music on Hogan on Raw, that led to a SummerSlam match. Maybe we can get some sort of like legend match versus Tiffany down the line. I think that would be a great way to also put her over more. Have Trish turn heel, have her come back again. I think Tiff is obviously a big star right now. Big star right now. So there's so many more things they can do with her. As far as a rating of the match, I think like a B minus. I think it was kind of just there. I don't think it necessarily even had to be on this card, truthfully. But there's so many other stuff on this card. But even though it's a four match card, right? It's still still not
somebody
bad on the end of it.
I can't remember who this was. Somebody mentioned this, and I thought this was hilarious. Basically, this is sort of like mirrored the Royal Rumble. 4-match card starts with a multi-woman match, then an inconsequential tag match, then a really violent match involving Kevin Owens, then a multi-man match, and then a big surprise at the end. So yeah, it's kind of accurate. But it's. Did you? I know you weren't there, but did you watch SmackDown before?
No, I couldn't. I wasn't able to do that, unfortunately.
Because you were traveling or even from but there was just related to this. It actually started off with Tiffany and Trish wearing I guess they were in Maple Leafs jerseys. This time they're Blue Jays sort of inspired garb, and we ended. It was actually a really good fun thing with the crowd. But we actually got Tiffany versus Chelsea Green, and they managed to give Chelsea Green some booze in Canada, which I guess they're really trying to make Chelsea Green a heel. People love her too much. Just a little sidebar, so. Decent second match in the card. We're not going to spend too much time on it. However, now we're going on to a match that was anything but inconsequential. The unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, so unsanctioned, the referee didn't even have a logo on his shirt. He just looked like some guy. A few times I remember thinking, why is that guy in there? Oh, that's the ref. Yeah. There was obviously there was the expected, I guess, hockey stick spot. At one point, though, Kevin Owens even bit Sami Zayn when he was going for the hockey stick. They got the tables out. KO set up 2 tables on top of each other, reminiscent of old Kevin Steen Generico matches. Those weren't the first tables gone through, though. Sami put Kevin through a couple of catering tables, sort of set up midway down the aisle. I hope none of the production crew were hungry that day. No, obviously, those were set up for the very purpose of that for the match. It's a weird place to set up a catering table inside the actual arena. But they went out to the walkway, the breezeway. They came back in at one point. Sami's going, and Sami goes through the 2 tables. Sami's under the ring. He pulls out a barbed wire covered chair. He ends up hitting Kevin Owens with the barbed wire covered chair. He ends up doing a blue thunder bomb into the barbed wire. Even with the barbed wire chair, the blue thunder bomb still didn't get Sami Zayn a victory. I think that's worked once or twice, once on the Miz, once on someone else. But he tried it on like Roman Reigns or Gunther. Like, no, you're not going to get those. Even with the barbed wire, it doesn't work on Kevin Owens. That's kind of a running joke, and other people make that joke too. Anyways, eventually, KO does his sort of version of the package pile driver, but he gets it onto the ring apron, which is really hard. Does it a couple of times. Eventually, KO does get the victory. I know I'm not doing it justice. We're going to talk about what happened after the match in a bit. But let's talk about the match itself. I'll let you go first because you were there.
Right. They actually came very close when they were in the crowd to fighting in my section. People were chanting like the section name. They didn't come like right up to where we were, but it was close, and it was pretty fun to see. I honestly thought when they set up the 2 tables on top of each other, I thought maybe we could have got a brainbuster spot, and then Kevin like falls through the tables after that. Didn't happen, unfortunately. It was but I think this was great. This was a lot of violence, a lot of really great spots. I am honestly though getting a little bit tired of the current how chairs work in WWE now, where it's like, hey, we're gonna hit the guy in the chest, we're gonna hit him on the back. It's like you can't really,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the same energy, the same impact at all as the chair shot to the head.
There.
And until they kind of can find a way to sort of get that back a little bit, not necessarily with chairs, but some sort of way to get that impact back. I'm getting a little bit tired of just chair to the back constantly. But that aside, this was great. This was very, very back and forth. Lots of again, this storytelling, so much history between these two. I'd give it a solid A minus. I think maybe close,
Okay.
maybe A minus.
Yeah.
And you know what I love too is that maybe this sets up not at Mania, but maybe hey Montreal Bad Blood. Could we see Hell in a Cell? Hopefully between the two,
Has that been
maybe some.
announced? That has not been announced, has it? You're
No,
just
I
making
wish
that
I would.
up?
Oh, sorry, no, not to get your hopes up, but I'm hoping. At
Like,
the
where do I buy tickets? I'm gonna stop
if you
this
want to
right now
do
and go get tickets.
if you want to do a feud ender between the two, maybe you do it in Montreal. I would hope
Yeah.
so. I would really hope. But
Yeah. Well, I mean,
great stuff.
as for me, again, like, I mean, the story with these guys is like 20 some odd years, so A plus with the story, in ring storytelling, in ring work. Overall, I would go with the A plus, except it's gonna. I mean, I'll take a little off because honestly, I understand why they didn't do blood in this match. Apparently, Kevin Owens might have dropped the blade, and also they had the blood in the last match. I was going to take a little off for that, but maybe not. But I mean, it did it live up to my absolute expectations? No, but did it come damn close? Yes. I'm going to give this one. I'd have to say an A minus. I'm going to have to give this one overall an A minus. It was. I mean, I love these guys. The fact that they didn't get blood from the barbed wire on the chair, that was the one thing that led me to believe that it almost took me out of it a bit, but not. But I was still very much into it, and I love Sami and Kate. Like, Sami's my favorite overall. Well, Montrealer, he's also from, like, he lives in NDG. Well, his family lives in NDG.
Okay.
That's like near me. So yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, I'd have to give this one an A minus, but only for the reasons I mentioned. But no, it was. I definitely did enjoy this match, and it wasn't as good. What did you think of the change of the lighting? They gave it a different lighting.
Oh yeah, so yeah, they changed it. It almost was a house show, almost kind of with the lighting, with how yeah, I guess to
Yeah,
get the unsanctioned kind of vibe going, sort of play into that more. I thought that was fine. I thought that was a fun little creative decision. I don't know how it came off on TV, but it was. I think it was effective. I would say for the stadium.
it looked cool. The thing is, I've seen them do like change the lighting, house show lighting, but they're usually not televising it. Like they do that for the main event at house. I saw a house show. They did that for the main event at the house show, and it was really cool in the arena. But again, they weren't filming that one. One of the reasons why the lights are so bright in WWE is because of the filming. But yeah, I think this was definitely very good. And the fact that KO almost he bit Sami at one point. Did you see that on the screens or on the? That's like, wow.
Yeah.
But so you almost
It
ended
needed
up on
blood. I
camera.
agree with you. I agree with you.
The,
This match definitely it needed a little bit of blood, but it's obviously this is far from over. And I'm also honestly happy that Kevin got the win. I think he was in need of one. I think his story, his character needed a victory to sort of propel him forward now to as we're going to discuss, imminently, right?
After the match, Kevin pulled apart some of the padding, was gonna pile driver Sami again, but then I hear voices in my head. But it sounds like the place goes wild. Randy Orton comes down, attacks KO, gives him the RKO. It looks like he's about to give him the punt, which he hasn't done in a while. He's about to punt kick his head. But of course, that's when security runs in and stop. And I think even Wade Barrett on commentary at this point, you didn't hear his music. He's like, "Oh, now the security does something." Like, stops. Obviously, sorry, Toronto, you're not going to get the punt. You have to wait till WrestleMania for that. But yeah, I guess how did the Randy Orton entrance feel in the venue?
I'll say too, I love how this happened after the match and not during. I'm glad we didn't get interference for this one. I think I think I played it very, very well. Fans were obviously hugely excited. My girlfriend was even like popping off at Orton coming out. All the KOs of the security was also great. Uh, yeah, sets up that Mania match. I don't know where that leaves Sami now for Mania. We'll obviously see. Maybe he'll be like off. Maybe he'll return at Mania. Something up further down the line with Owens.
Yeah.
Yeah, just good to have
It
him
might
back.
be
Obviously,
carrying cross the way it might be carrying. I hope it's not carrying cross, but it might be.
it was also a bit of a surprise because we had heard that Orton was going to be coming back. It's rumor was like at some point in March, but later in March and not at Elimination Chamber. So that was good. That was obviously a good surprise. A little
Yeah, no,
bit expected. You kind of it's something that even with the reports, you kind of thought, okay, it does make sense to bring him back here. It happened, but still, like fantastic.
yeah, good. Yeah, well, I mean, well, always good to see Randy Orton back, and yeah, he's one of those guys that, yeah, when he shows up, he's also it makes sense he didn't interfere during the match because he's respectful. He respects the business. He respects let them fight it out. Like let them like I'm not going to take Sami's moment. Sami's got to fight his own battle, and then I'll come in and deal with KO when it's over. Yeah, okay. So moving along now, we have the final match of the evening, the Men's Elimination Chamber match. Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre started things off. Rematch of last year's WrestleMania. Eventually, Damian Priest would join the fray. Logan Paul would come in after drawing things on his cell or his pod before it. Also after deciding to come in with the American flag to really get a good heel response from the crowd. Logan's a very clever guy. We got John Cena. And before we even got CM Punk in the match, Damian Priest eliminated Drew McIntyre. McIntyre was very pissed, as expected, yeah. But McIntyre was very pissed, and as expected, gives him a Claymore before leaving. Logan Paul takes advantage, eliminates Damian Priest, and Punk comes out. There's a lot of back and forth. Eventually, Punk does eliminate Logan Paul. And we're, of course, left with Punk, Rollins, and Cena. There's sort of a stare down. There's an interesting bit where Punk, or basically Cena's pulls Seth off Punk, and Seth says, "No, he's mine. You go back to doing movies. You're." You can hear this in the arena. Like we definitely heard this on TV. He says, "He's mine. He's don't touch him. You've been away for too long. Go back to doing movies. He's mine." And he goes to go after Punk, but then Cena doesn't give up. He takes Seth off. Seth eventually, it takes a lot to get Seth out. It's a go to sleep into the attitude adjustment from two people. Then Punk comes in, gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. It's Cena and Punk. They had previously given each other I think they're this point, they give each other a hug. And they start fighting. And it looks, at this point, Punk's they're going to shake hands. But then Punk turns that into an attempt to go to sleep. Eventually, they're fighting back and forth. It's like, a rematch for the ages. But then Seth, who hadn't left the cage yet, comes in, gives Punk a stomp, and then not hesitating, not even, doing the typical baby face, oh, should I really win this way? And then winning. Cena comes right in, gets Punk, locks Punk in, and not tapping out. Punk passes out. Referee wins the bell. The winner of the Men's Elimination Chamber match, John Cena. And that's the end of the night. We don't need to talk about anything after that. Everyone went home happy, right? No, I'm kidding. We know there's more coming up after that. But first, the match itself. Obviously, the storytelling is always an A+. On the story and in-ring storytelling is always an A+ on these. In-ring work is an A. Actually, yeah, it was, there were no botches. It was an A+. Overall, though, because of the ephemeral, I'm going to give this one an A-. I actually not counting what happens after this match, the match itself was very good. I preferred the women's chamber match. I thought that for me, that was the match of the night. And this and Sami and KO are sort of tied for second, with the Trish Stratus match a little bit down. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy this match. I mean, some of it happened as expected. Some of it was predictable, but it was still very good. What did you think?
Yeah, I think the Drew and Damian thing was, as I said, I think everybody knew that was going to happen. It was already rumored they were going to have a match at Mania. There's a lot to build on now because you already have Damian eliminate Drew at Royal Rumble. You have him obviously with the cash in last year's WrestleMania. So they had that, blow off match now at Mania. People were suspecting that. And you had obviously Rollins getting involved in at the very end there after being eliminated and attacking Punk. I love that Punk didn't tap out. I love that it was he passed out, so he can still say, "Hey, I didn't actually lose," or whatever whatever they want to go with. Yeah, I think there was more in the women's match. I think the final three here was when things really actually got interesting, and when there's a lot. It was elevated at that point, right? When you have those three guys at it, all that history involved between them.
Yeah,
I hope just great.
Would you give it like a rating?
I give it like an A minus. I think. Yeah, around the same thing as the women's match. I think, but overall, I think the women's match was better. But the final three for this one was the end of it was a lot more better done. Well,
yeah. Because you knew that Liv was a tag champ and she wasn't going to win. Bianca was going to win the other one. Like when you get to the final three, you're right about that. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a fan though. I think I mentioned this on the preview show. I don't really like now how when somebody does get eliminated in this, they could just go back in, just immediately cost somebody who eliminated them. The fact that we had two eliminations were like 40% of the eliminations in this match were because of that. I'm not the biggest fan of that, like twice, especially in the same match. I do want them to kind of like reevaluate that sort of going forward, because it's just sort of, hey, how are we going to get these guys in the match at Mania? How are we going to further build this through? Let's just have someone attack after we're already been eliminated. I think it's getting a bit lazy now for me. I would like to see them finish up in the future, because that's a bit that honestly that kind of makes it lose a bit of points for me as well. But, that's at the end of the day, that's what happened.
I was kind of disappointed that Punk didn't win, but then what happened after kind of changed my my perception, and for some reason has me now thinking that was the absolute best result for the Elimination Chamber. So let's move along into the afterbirth, so to speak. Okay, a brief rundown of what happened. By the way, I'm pretty sure you can find this clip somewhere online. If you want to watch it, you don't even have to watch the full PLE or have Netflix or Peacock if you're in the States. It's a small sequence, but it's a very important sequence. Obviously, Cody Rhodes' music hit. I was impressed with how quickly they got. You might have seen this from a different perspective. The camera's on John Cena winning. Cody Rhodes' music hit, and the time it takes Cody to enter, they had the sell up. That thing must have gone up quickly. Like that's
I think it rises relatively quick. We did see it like before the show began, then when they had playing of national anthems, they got it up like relatively quickly. I don't know exactly how. I didn't time it, or anything like that.
Yeah, well, they show it. It takes its time coming down, but that's done on purpose for effect. Anyways, okay. So the Cells up, they're in the ring. They're like pointing the WrestleMania sign. All's good. Oh, that's going to be us. We're going to be fighting. And then as expected, if you smell The Rock, well, first of all, Travis Scott comes out. He's going to stick around. Wasn't expecting that. And The Rock comes down with Travis Scott. He gives Cody, starts touching Cody's face. Says to Cody, like everything, all your dreams can be reality, or the dream dies again. So obviously a Dusty Rhodes reference. Cody. I mean, I could kind of see coming when Cody says, I want it all. My soul is not mine, but hey, it belongs to all the people, or to this ring, all the people, and then it's been belonged to them for long ago. And then unexpected, he actually says, I guess we could swear on YouTube. He's like, Rock, go fuck yourself, or go F yourself. We'll see which edit I put in. Place goes wild, and then Cody and Cena get a hug, and then the camera shows on Cena's face. It's like happy, and then it gets really evil. Cut to Rock, who does this gesture, same one he did at Bad Blood. Cena leaves the hug. Low blow to Cody. They attack him at one point. He's beating him with Cody's watch, Rolex watch that I think Nick Khan had gifted him. It used to be his dad's watch or something. Maybe he'd given it to The Rock. The Rock gave it back. There he starts beating him with the watch. They even Travis Scott's beating him at one point, and they leave. They get the weight belt out. And Rock starts whipping him with that, and then the three of them leave. And it's interesting. The final poster of the show was The Rock, Travis Scott, and John Cena, and that's the trio you see leaving. The spoiler was in the poster. Now, obviously, we're not going to rate this. This is one of the most like cataclysmic important WWE events of all time. But I guess initial reaction to this and how it felt. When did you catch on to what was happening in the building?
Yeah, I think when you kind of knew when you had like Cena still in the ring after the match. I mean, it does make sense to have him out there too anyway, because he will be facing Cody at Mania. So even if he didn't turn, it still would have made sense. But you can't just have nothing happen. You know, you can't just have Cody say, "Go fuck yourself," and that's it. You know what? Is he going to take a rock bottom and Cena's going to attack? It doesn't. But the fact they actually went through with it, I think, especially when it's like his last time, you know, it's like, retirement is what in a few months. So to actually have him turn heel for that is like, you know, a tremendous big deal. The only way I think maybe it could have been amplified, and this is just me thinking like kind of the top of my head, is like if you had fans sort of throw stuff into the ring like in shock or in anger akin
like
to
Hogan,
yeah, but
it's what's compared.
People don't want
to
get kicked out, you know, right? At the same time, you know, you're told not to do that. Maybe you could have had like some fans, and there's some plans maybe you could have been purposely like to do that for that added effect, but then you could have had a domino effect where fans start, you know, doing it as well. And I don't like, I'm just throwing.
And then people start doing it every other WWE show down the road, and their cleanup crew starts charging them a whole much more for. But the comparison a comparison people made to Hogan being the third man, and I mean they had three men in the ring. Also, Travis Scott, you know, I mean he seemed kind of random there, but. You know, if Cena gets new heel theme music, you don't want Def Rebel having to do it. Maybe Travis Scott could do that. Maybe that could be his.
Apparently, he's training. Apparently, he's actually been training to do some sort of match. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, I don't know who he goes up against though.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he was the total babyface last time with when he was hanging out with Jey Uso, though. But I think his days of hanging out with Jey are over. He's aligned with The Rock, so maybe we're going to get Travis Scott against Metro Boomin, maybe in a tag match with Cody and The Rock, or with Cena somehow. Also, Cena's back to shooting movies for a bit, so I don't know if he's even going to be doing a promo tonight on Raw or when the next time is. But I think that this is like the most unexpected end. And I even said in my other video, I think I owe The Rock and Triple H an apology. Like I thought this whole Rock stuff seemed phoned in and they were sort of winging it, but no, it seems like they actually had a plan. And do you think it correlates to the things that Bad Blood, where he goes 1, 2, 3, and then this? Now I don't know if Cena. I think Cena has more than 3. There's hustle, loyalty, respect. That could have been what it meant. Or you think there's like a third person? Also, where's Roman in all of this?
Roman is in storyline, is he not just injured right now after Rumble? It begs the question, right? So obviously now Seth and Punk have like reason to fight at Mania, but then you know you think that Roman will be involved in that as well. Obviously, that triple threat becomes sort of a big option.
Yeah,
but then you also have the favor still, and I don't know how long you want to keep the favor like as a variable.
Well, if we go Roman Rock, that's a way that Punk could get into be like in the main event if we go Roman Rock. Because I mean, you have to think that who was The Rock's champion before? It was Roman. Then he wants Cody to be his champion. Now he's got Cena as his champion. What happened to Roman? Like, is Roman chopped liver? So maybe we do Rock Roman, and the favor could be like, yeah, get me into that match, make it a triple threat. Like, or maybe if it's Roman and Seth, Punk could be trying to get into that match, make it a triple threat to get, because if you're in the match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, it might not actually be the main event, but you could say you're main eventing WrestleMania, right? Like that's ultimately what Punk wants, is to be in a main event match at WrestleMania. Not even win it, just be in it. Like it's, or at least that's what Phil Brooks wanted back in the day. But yeah, so I mean, I think they've been very delicately. Yes, he's injured, but they're definitely trying to keep Roman as far away from this story as possible. Paul Heyman too. They're not even bringing like Jey Uso or Sam or any of the Bloodline people anywhere close to this. So that's, I think that's deliberate. I think Roman is going to have a role to play. maybe versus the Rock, or maybe they're setting up Rock and Roman for next year.
They could do Rock Roman at SummerSlam even for all we know, because it will be 2 days. Obviously, they want to make something super special for that first 2-day SummerSlam. There's a lot of it. I do agree with you that they want to keep Roman as far away from this as possible. I just let him do his own thing with Seth and Punk for now. And then down, the favor, like you said, it could very well be just, hey, get me into that match. I don't want it just to be Seth and Roman. I want to be in that one as well. Does also, his whole storyline right now is still, hey, he's always been looking at the WrestleMania sign. He does want that main event. It does make sense for that to be of a favor. But he could also, maybe he could find a way to make that some sort of number one contendership match, so that then he gets involved in the main event somehow. There's just so many ways you can go about doing that. I do think we will get a one-on-one with CM Punk and John Cena down the line. Of course, Cody versus Punk is another one that people definitely want to see. But right now, I think heel Cena versus Cody is a fantastic night 2 main event.
Yeah,
it's exactly what it needed, what the whole event really needed.
As Triple H said, are you excited for WrestleMania? He said that you probably didn't see the press conference. He said that in the press conference, like, are you excited now for WrestleMania? Like, you guys were doubting us. Here we get. That is something I never thought they would do. So that was our review of Elimination Chamber 2025. Overall, I say this is one of the best PLEs. Well, it's the best PLE of 2025 so far.
Yeah. I mean, AEW hasn't had an event either, right? So it's pretty.
I'm just going WWE, but I mean, Royal Rumble was good, but this is better than the Rumble. But I mean, this is one of the better PLEs we've seen. Like, I mean, just what happened? Like, even the beginning, it started hot, it ended like really hot, like short card, and this is one that's going to be like, this will be remembered as the one where John Cena turned heel on his retirement tour after 23 years of them absolutely refusing to do it. So even though CM Punk, my boy, didn't win, I have Sami Zayn. I should have worn my Sami Zayn shirt, but I wore this one instead. So I guess final thoughts on this PLE.
Do you want me to give like a PLE a grade, or?
Yeah, let's give it. I give it an A+. Like, even though some of the matches were a little slower, but I'll give it an A, maybe.
I think an A is a great score. I think this was definitely like, historic, right, as far as the magnitude of it. Like, for the obviously we'll have to see how they continue off the storyline now, how they take heel Cena going forward. If they do, how long the heel turn will last for. Is he going to retire a heel? I don't think so. But as long as I think we'll look back at this pay-per-view more retroactively, depending on how they utilize heel Cena. Because if it ends up not working out very well, if it's only a Mania thing, then this is not going to be like, people will be like, okay, it's not, it loses a little bit of that retroactively. But for now, it's an A, absolutely.
Yeah, I say the PLE is an A, but I'd say the angle at the end potentially could be an A++, like an A+, like one of the most memorable things about it. Okay, so Mike, thanks very much for being here, and you saw one hell of a show live. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Let us know what you thought in the comments. I'll be back in the next one for Mike Gwilliam in Ottawa, who was in Toronto, and for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal. I'm Jason C. McLean. Catch you next time.